Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and I'm excited to do these videos with you. This was something recently my channel was hacked and completely taken off of YouTube because of a scam that was uploaded by the hackers. And my biggest regret was not doing videos like these, which was what I started doing when I originally started my channel. Something that I've always wanted to do, but I had kind of been holding off on doing videos like these because I was afraid people wouldn't like them. So if this isn't the kind of video that you like, feel free to skip and come back when I post a roadside rescue video, which I'll still be doing every week. You know, multiple videos of those a week. I just also want to do these kinds of videos. So today we're going to be looking at 5-Minute Crafts, huge YouTube channel, and everybody knows that they're a little bit of weird. And so sometimes they post things that don't make sense. Sometimes they post things that do make sense. So we're going to be looking at some car hacks that 5-Minute Crafts has posted, and we're going to be talking about, are these real hacks that would be worth knowing for your vehicle, or do they not make sense? And so we'll jump right into this video. Alright, and just so everybody knows before we get started, I took off as much money as I could on all the merchandise down below. It's like super discounted. Again, as much as I could. And so all the merchandise down below is super cheap. At this point, I'm not trying to make money off the merchandise. I just want to get my brand out there. I want people to get connected with the channel who want to support it and, you know, represent some roadside rescue. So check out the merchandise down below, t-shirts and stuff. If you're interested, they're as cheap as they're ever going to be. You know, thanks for checking that out. If you're interested, we'll jump into these 5-minute crafts and see if they make any sense. Okay, tire tread depth test. Here we go. Oh, man. I gotta pause it right off the bat. So, I know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to stick this in a tire. Here's the thing. This works, but not with the quarter. So, obviously they've got some good information here. They just didn't have all the information. So you can do this with a penny. And you flip it upside down like they have it. It's not George Washington. It's Abraham Lincoln on the penny. The distance between the edge of the penny and the top of Abraham Lincoln's head, and this is interesting how they measure depth in tires, is in 30 seconds of inches. And it's 2/32. So normally you'd say 1/16. On a tire, it's not 1/16, it's 2/32. And once a tire tread gets below 2/32, it can't push the water away. It can't expel the water away efficiently, and you need new tires. So your tread's no good. Basically, it's not the same, but basically you're driving on bald tires at that point. So you want new tires when it gets down to Abraham Lincoln's head. It's a good way to do it. They make tools for that. But if you don't want to buy the tool on Amazon for a couple bucks, I'll put one in the link in the description down below. Get yourself a penny. It's only a cent. Let's see here. Yeah, that'd be fine anyways. If you use a quarter and it's past his head, obviously it's better than a penny anyways. There's more distance in between the edge of a quarter and the top of George Washington's head, and there is Abraham Lincoln's head, so you're good to go. Yeah, anyways. Anti-rain, no, yes. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of hacks for this, so I'm interested to see what they do here. Alright, looks like it works pretty well. Paraffin, that's wax. So I'll just get a paraffin candle. It's not beeswax. And white spirit. So I guess it's alcohol. I don't know if you have to heat it up. It looks like it just dissolves in there. Yeah, I don't know how much a bottle of alcohol costs, but they make Rain-X. It's like $10 for a little bottle of Rain-X that'll work on. It'll cover plenty more than all the windows on your vehicle. So if I've never drank alcohol, but if a bottle of alcohol costs more than $10 and a candle that's probably 25 cents at the party store, consider just using Rain-X. It probably works a little better anyways. But if this is true, I mean, you never know, but it may work. Somebody try it out and let me know in the description down below. Okay, and that one's pretty cool. Wow, it looked like they had a muffin tin in the cup holder to catch crumbs. If you're putting your granola bar and stuff in there, that's great. If you're just using a cup, maybe it'll catch drips. So that works. I've never thought of that. Assuming it fits, but it probably works. Alright, here we've got a rubber band and a clip. I'd want to test that out. I can't imagine that's holding it down hard enough with a metal surface. You know, maybe if you put like rubber bands around those, little wires as well, or like they were covered in silicone, it may hold onto the phone, but I can't imagine when you go around to turn that phone sitting still and not sliding out of that makeshift mount. If you have to have something like that, yeah, I can't imagine you ever being in a situation where you have those around and you have to have your phone up on the dash for navigation or something. You can't just put the speaker on and listen to it, or you can't go get a mount that probably cost a few bucks. So I don't think that one's practical in my opinion. Alright, cleaning out our vents here. Little sponge paintbrush. Yeah, that probably works pretty well. I could see that working. Oh, here we go with our crumbs. Yeah, if you put your granola bar in the cup holder, I've never done that, but you know, catch drips more likely. So shower curtain hangers, I guess, just hang stuff up on your seat. I don't know why you'd want it hanging on the back of your seat rather than just sitting in the seat where it's easier to get. You know, in your passenger seat and you get out, you got your umbrella, rather than opening up the driver's side door, going around the other door, opening it up to get your umbrella out. So maybe not very practical. We'll have to try some of these out in another episode. These are starting to get interesting. Stuff in the back. Yeah, that's cool, those cleaning containers. That keeps stuff pretty organized in the back. That's a good idea. Yeah, so I knew what they were going to do as soon as they put the toothpaste on that cloth. People have been doing this trick for a long time to clear up their headlights. Headlights get real foggy. Problem is, the toothpaste doesn't last very long. In like a month, they're foggy again. They make products that cost the same as toothpaste, that last a little bit longer. Problem is, without a clear coat on top of that, they almost always get foggy within a few months anyways. So you can keep doing that every few months, or applying a different product that lasts 4 or 5 months instead of 1 month. The only fix for that works real well is just to replace the headlight and get new ones. I know there's people who clear coat them and stuff. I've heard good and bad stories about that. So if I wouldn't mess around with it. I would just order a new set of headlights online and just be done with it for the next. It takes 5-10 years for headlights to start getting foggy if they're good quality. I mean, this one wasn't even foggy in the first place, so there's a before and after. It usually works about like that. That one's pretty common. I think everybody knows that one. Silica gel, it looks like. Now, it was obviously fast forwarded. I don't know if their car was on. It looks like they just had their defrost on, because you can see that silica gel that's all the way up against the windshield is blocking the vent. That's where the vent is. It's in the very extreme of the windshield. And if we rewind this, here's a detail. You can see it start to defog from the middle first, which is where the majority of the air comes from when you turn your defrost on. And underneath, right up above where that little silica gel packet is that's covering the vent, that's the last place to defog. So I imagine that's blocking the airflow. If you'll notice, stick something on your dash, stick a piece of paper, and turn your defrost on. That'll be the last place to defog, because that's blocking the vent. That's blowing that air across the window to defog it. And so you'll see here, that's the last place to defog. So this one probably doesn't work, but we'll have to try it. That one goes all the way in the corner, and you see how right there it's still foggy going all the way down to that edge. So probably doesn't work. It started again from that left side and kind of moved over, which leads me to believe they have their defrost on and they're just blowing air on it, which works. You know, heat up your car, turn your car on, turn your defrost on. That's the best way to do it. You start wiping it, you get a bunch of smears and stuff on it. So yeah, so I'll stop you right here, just tell you what's going on, a little preface. They have a scissor jack under the car. Scissor jacks are very common with most vehicles nowadays as a roadside emergency jack. You have that hook, they'll come with a little handle. It's not that hard to jack them up, but you can make it easier if you put it on a drill. What you can't do is use an impact. If you use an impact, it starts hitting that, especially the kinds that have nuts on them, where you can just put a socket right on there. You start hitting that, the threads inside of those sometimes are plastic, and you start banging on those threads, they can break loose, and those don't come with jack stands, so you need to be really careful with scissor jacks. This is a drill. It's providing constant pressure on that screw, which is okay. That's what you would do if you were doing it by hand, but if you use an impact, you can strip out those threads or damage them, and once those plastic threads are gone out of that nut in the screw jack, the jack can drop. So you don't want to put your legs under there regardless, and you always want to do it on a flat surface, but don't use an impact on that. Let's see, this should work if his drill's strong enough. If not, at least it gets it most of the way there and you can finish it by hand, but you can see there clearly he did it, but that didn't look like the same drill. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend spinning your tires if you just have one off the ground and none of the others are chalked. Don't spin the tire. Alright, here we go. We're going to talk about why you shouldn't warm up your car when it's cold. Even when it's not cold, the recommendation isn't to warm up your car by letting it sit there. Does everybody still do it? Yes. Is it going to make that big of a difference in the long run? Not too big of a difference. But we'll see if they mention it here, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, so I don't know if people are warming up their vehicles to prolong service life, or if they're just doing it because it's cold outside and they want to defrost the windows. But yeah, regardless, people are heating up their vehicles before they get in them because it's more comfy. Yeah, let's see. You shouldn't do this. Let's see why they say. Yeah, so their reason, it uses up the fuel, which can damage it. I mean, I'm not trying to harp on anybody. I have nothing against anybody. It just sounds like somebody wrote that who doesn't know what they're talking about. They heard a suggestion from somebody else and came up with a reason why. It has to do mostly with oil starvation and viscosity of the oil when it's cold. Using up fuel, yeah, it's going to use excess fuel, but a couple of pennies worth. The excess fuel that your vehicle is using isn't going to damage the vehicle. Yeah, this is true. I mean, there's fuel going through the cylinders, but there's not oil inside of the cylinders. There should be a thin layer on the cylinder walls in most circumstances, but they're talking about air-fuel ratios with cold air, but again, they've kind of touched the problem here. It's mostly an oil problem, that when the oil is cold, it's a lot thicker, and it's harder for that engine to pull the oil up to the top, to the valve train, inside all of the bearings. It's harder for it to get a fine coat of lubrication in every little corner of the engine where it needs to be, and that's because it's colder. So rather than waiting for your vehicle to warm up, which takes a longer amount of time to get the oil circulating through the engine, you're supposed to start driving it, which increases the RPMs, which makes the oil pump flow stronger. It helps get that oil in other places. It also helps the vehicle warm up quicker, which helps get that oil in all the places it should be as well. So it's mostly an oil starvation issue. Well, there you have it. We'll have to try some of those out. I'm interested to do some in another video. This was kind of the first one I had, and now that we've done this, I think, hey, we should put some of these to the test and actually get some of these products and see if they work. Some of these things, my wife always likes to joke about it. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, you don't have flip-flops, wear this 2-liter Coke bottle on your feet, and they'll cut up a flip-flop to make something to fit around that Coke bottle. Like, just use the flip-flop that you just cut up, kind of thing. So sometimes their ideas are just for fun, but some of these look like they may have been worthwhile, so we'll try these out. This was the first kind of this episode that I've done, so if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Anything that you'd like to see me try or talk about, leave it in the comments down below, or send me a message to my Facebook or Instagram, which you can find in the description at the bottom. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Ernest. Hopefully this video entertained you. If you liked it, consider subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Roadside Rescue.